And I would like to now introduce you to what we consider the most valuable part of the entire branch pack program, the Broker Hunter University. And we've developed the most comprehensive training curriculum in existence for financial advisor recruiting. Our branch pack members are going to get to leverage Broker Hunter's 15 years of leading-edge digital recruitment experience. In addition to that, we've teamed up with Peter Weddle to help us launch a formal Broker Hunter University Curriculum. It's like nothing else out there. And so many of you have probably never heard of Peter Weddle, and you're wondering who in the world this is. Well, if you're not in the HR recruiting world, then this name's probably going to be completely foreign to you. But let me say this. Peter literally wrote the book on online recruiting. He's actually written about 24 of them at last count. So with that introduction, I'd like to now welcome Peter, and he's going to tell you all about the curriculum that we have in store for you over the coming year. Peter, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Dave. I'd like to add my welcome to all of you to the program. As Dave mentioned, we've put together a curriculum in the Broker Hunter University that's designed to help you recruit the best talent out there in your field. Now, the training is based on a single premise that's both simple and ironclad. It goes like this. What you do to recruit the best talent will also recruit mediocre talent, but the converse is not true. In other words, if you design your strategy and your tactics for the average financial advisor, for the generic candidate, that's exactly who you will recruit. But if you tailor your strategy and tactic to the unique attributes of those top financial advisors, then you'll be able to recruit them as well as everybody else. So this particular training program is comprehensive. It covers all aspects of a multifaceted campaign for top financial advisors. It's state-of-the-art, and it's specifically designed for people who aren't recruiters, who have a lot of other important things to do in their day, who want to know what will work best and work most efficiently. So we're going to begin by talking about what are the attributes that top financial advisors bring to the marketplace. How are they different, and how can we leverage those differences in order to connect with them in a way that the competition can't. And then we're going to talk about a whole series of tactics that you can use to reach out to this talent. For example, in session number 3, we're going to talk about recruitment advertising and job postings on the web. And as David said, they are a proven tool for recruiting even the most passive, high-caliber talent out there. But you have to realize that these guys have unique attributes. Almost all of them are always employed. So what does that mean? That means that in order to recruit them, we have to convince them to do the one thing that we humans most hate to do, change. We have to convince them to go from the devil they know, their current employer, their current boss, their current commute, to the devil they don't know, your organization, a new boss, a different commute. You can't do that with a job posting with all of the appeal of a brick. And that's the problem with most job postings today. They're a modern medical miracle. They're a cure for insomnia in 500 words or less. So what we're going to talk about in that particular session is the content, the structure, and the format of a job posting that will not only pique the curiosity of top financial performers, but will also engage them in a way that will get them to stop and consider your value proposition as an employer. We're going to talk about other things. We're going to talk about, for example, networking on the web. As Dave mentioned, there are all kinds of social media platforms out there, but unfortunately, they have all convinced folks today that the way that you use these social media platforms is as a contact sport. You build up the greatest number of friends and followers and connections you can, and that's how you make these platforms work for you. Well, another attribute of the best talent is that they listen to their mother. What was the first lesson that your mother taught you? Don't speak to strangers. So the probability that they're going to pay attention to some message that comes winging through LinkedIn for the first time from a stranger is slim and none. So the whole focus of that particular session is how you build familiarity and trust, the pillars of a relationship with these people, and you do so in the blink of an eye. In other words, networking on the web is not a contact sport. It's actually a team sport. It's how you build a relationship with someone who really isn't interested in changing devils. And then we're going to move on to more advanced topics. We're going to talk about how you have to optimize the candidate experience. Another attribute of the best talent is that they're smart consumers. You know, they don't take the representations, particularly that organizations make over the web, at face value. They want to test drive the products and services, the new opportunities, the value propositions of employers that they're told about online. Now, you can test drive a car, you can test drive a television set, but you can't test drive an employer. So what does the best talent do? What do these high-performing financial advisors look for? They want to create a surrogate, and that surrogate is your recruiting process. They believe that the way that you treat them in your recruiting process is likely to be the way they're going to be treated as an employee. So it's very important that you align your organization's employment brand. What's your culture, what's your values? You align those statements with what happens to them once they enter your recruiting process. So we'll talk about those kinds of strategies and tactics as well. And then finally, we'll get into some really advanced capabilities, how you can, for example, probe into LinkedIn without having to buy the expensive recruitment sheets, how you can use special data mining techniques to get into LinkedIn and really find people that LinkedIn doesn't want to show you unless you spend the big bucks on a recruiting seat with them. So the program, again, is designed to be comprehensive. Every aspect of recruiting strategy and tactics, it's state-of-the-art. But most importantly, to come back to the point I made in the beginning, it's not designed to turn you into a recruiter. It's designed to give you the tools that you can use in the midst of doing all the other important things that you have to do on your job or in your job, so that you can not only attract the interest of the best talent, but you can also recruit them. Dave, I'll send it back to you.